You go. All right, let's watch this. Elden Ring Nightreign, first impressions of the network test build from IGN. Let's see what we got here.
We begin. I just need to say that the footage in this video was provided by Bandai Namco.
Before we
as
begin,
no
I think
capture was permitted during the event.
Ooh.
So unfortunately, some of the really cool things I talk about may not always be perfectly represented on screen. Now,
Wagyu human being, no. Do you know how fat the person eating Wagyu needs to be? Like how specific proportions of fat you would need to make a person to get Wagyu out of them. So anyway, so they're not allowing people to. I love how we're just talking about cannibalism before reacting to this video. That's just one of the things we talk about, right? Holy fuck! I need to send this to Queenie. Anyway, so not allowing recording for this kind of thing, yeah, no, it's perfectly reasonable. The build is probably not finished. This is a test, network test, and when it comes to this kind of thing, I understand why they would be very jealous. This is a very experimental thing from Software. They are branching out into a space that they never did because they already won at everything. Like Bandai Namco right now with From Software, they are the British Empire. The British Empire won at everything. They won the world. What do you do next? You try something different and you crumble. So let's hope this doesn't happen with Elden Ring, but coming out of my mouth and a bit of tongue, so theoretically I tried it, couldn't call it a sweet thing. There you go, it's irony.
On to the preview.
Tragedy must be averted.
Okay.
And for that, I need your help.
Elden Ring Nightreign.
I hope this stream wouldn't get you in trouble talking about cannibalism. A big Twitch doesn't. Yeah, no, we're not talking about, and like we're not endorsing terrorism or anything like that. And it's mostly for the memes. I played Elden Ring. We didn't finish the DLC, but it is on the list. The DLC is on the list of games that we need to finish. Something that requires an invitation. Jesus Christ, potato. Jesus.
Is not a battle royale.
You'll get along with Queenie.
Whoever thought it was, but as a former battle royale enjoyer, I can't help but compare
Former
the
battle
white-knuckle
royale
moments
enjoyer.
I get when the storm closes in on me in those last gripping moments of a half-hour-long session.
I've never played
I
haven't played much in battle royales.
Bits where I'm desperately trying to outrun the encroaching circle and make it to a life-saving site of grace in Nightreign. PvP elements are completely absent in Nightreign, though not missed one bit. Still,
wait. Remember that as long as you pay your taxes, the IRS does not care who you eat. Here we go. Hang on, let me hear that again.
though not missed one bit. Elements are completely absent in Nightreign to a life-saving site of grace in Nightreign. PvP elements are completely absent in Nightreign.
They are doing Battle Royale without the PvP aspect. It's entirely a PvE Battle Royale. I might actually try this, because one of the things that I don't do much in PvP, when it comes to PvP, I don't do much of it. Like, I played, what, 2 matches of Fortnite? 7 matches of Apex Legends. Never tried PUBG. Never tried any of the other ones. Like I have not tried any of the other games. It's just not my cup of tea. I'm not somebody who does PvP, like in general. Then Dude Receive was funny when it came out, and it dropped all the people who had Elden Ring as their first Souls-like complained it was unfair, too hard. I remember we started the DLC. We took the wrong turn, like you were supposed to turn left, and we turned right, and we beat one of the bosses. You know, the dual sword lady. We beat her. Well, she was trying to like one-shot us. Took us so many tries, and yeah, to explain more about it. But yeah, I was just saying that this now has piqued my interest a lot more, because when I hear Battle Royale, I'm not interested. Because I'm not a PvP person. I'm just not. I'm a PvE person. So, just Fortnite without the vile... this is Fortnite without the annoying 10-year-old kids with the Eren Yeager or whatever other franchise has yet to be taken over, killing you from halfway around the map. Now than PUBG or before that, but I played Apex for a bit. Apex is done really poorly inside a virtual machine environment, and I refused to install kernel level anti-cheat malware to my computer. Yeah, there you go. Fortnite for Elden. There you go. All right, let's
not
continue.
missed one bit.
Interesting.
Still, you'll drop into a map with a squad, start from nothing, and spend your time ransacking the map to hopefully power yourself up for the final battle.
Okay.
From the risk-reward moments of looting a church for one more flask charge as the circle closes in, to the wave of sadness you feel when experiencing a devastating loss after taking so much time building yourself up, it's hard not to see the battle
So it's more
royale
like session-based,
but
yeah.
after 4 hours of playing the upcoming stress test build, I'm ecstatic to report that Nightreign probably won't tarnish the Elden Ring name.
Keep in mind this comes from IGN, and IGN is as trustworthy for this kind of thing as what other games journalists. So I'm gonna take this with a grain of salt. Jesus, yeah, they don't have that many. So the animation for skill, like Elden Ring itself, like it's FromSoft. They ever since Dark Souls 2, they only put out bangers. So that's fine. Let's check this. Let's continue. So yeah, just caveat there.
You'll be given a choice to pick one of 4 available classes, though there will be a total of 8 when Nightreign launches. The current options will be the all-arounder Wilder, the speedy glass cannon Duchess, the tanky Guardian, and the magic-wielding Recluse.
Interesting.
Each class has its own strengths and weaknesses, of course, but in my time with this build, I found that the most fun class to play was the Duchess, thanks to her powerful abilities and swift dodges. I also spent some time with the Recluse, which was incredibly powerful, but I ran out of FP quite often, and with no FP flasks, they aren't in this Elden Ring, she'll definitely be one of the harder classes to play effectively.
That is interesting. A glass cannon with limited slots. That goes back to Dark Souls 1. Dark Souls 1 didn't have FP either. You had a set number of spells. Like, you had a set number of spells for each spell. Like, you had Fireball, you had eight Fireballs until the next bonfire. So it looks like they're kind of going back to that kind of format. That is interesting. That is interesting.
Each class comes equipped with a leveling path, which I'll talk about more in a moment, but more importantly, they all have
Dark Souls 2 had that as well,
ultimate abilities. The Duchess, for example, has an incredibly powerful skill that repeats the last 1.5 seconds of damage an enemy has just taken, and it has a short cooldown to boot. Also, it's not just your damage, it's everyone's damage. So
okay. One of the things we have to keep in mind now, this is a big risk that FromSoft is taking. Classes. Throughout the entire history of Souls games and Bloodborne and Elden Ring, even Armored Core, Sekiro not so much, because Sekiro is kind of like just role-playing, single character. It's about builds. It has never been about classes. It's been about overall builds. There are certain starting points, and then you go for a build. So this is going to be particularly tricky for FromSoft, but I think they can. They are making it sound interesting. Like there's actual video. Oh, kind of low volume. Okay, let me up the volume. There we go. So yeah, the classes being stuck to a class, that is going to take some adapting to. It's a big risk. The biggest risk I'm seeing from Software is that. Like, not so much, like, the map mechanics, that I think we can all get adjusted to. The classes is going to be probably the biggest point of contention. I upped the volume, by the way. I forgot to put it all the way.
While you're flipping around the battlefield landing attacks, you're also waiting for huge health spikes to try and capitalize on doubling that damage. It's great stuff. Other skills also match the class's predetermined role. The Wilder can do a blast attack to try to land big damage.
Okay, nice. So
the Guardian can create a large shield, both negating damage and reviving fallen allies.
People like Master classes in games? Yes, they do.
Granting all attackers HP.
Usually not Souls players, though.
So while players can double up classes in a run, it's always a good idea to talk about team strengths and weaknesses to diversify your group.
That's another big risk that FromSoft is taking. Team-based. if you have a team, working on a team, that is something that FromSoft themselves have limited the players very much over the past, since Dark Souls came out, since Demon Souls came out. Playing co-op has always been a very limited experience, and it looks like they are going kind of all in on this. Like, they are making sure that there's a lot more synergy between. I'm saying, I like it. I like the sound. I don't play with no one, so there you go. Days 2 weeks, well... I'm not gonna ban you. Alright, so yeah, no, we got this. No duo, so it's either solo or trio. That's kind of stupid. So then again, FromSoft, they're not the greatest at multiplayer, but it's another risk. That's another risk they are doing. So... there we go. Let's continue.
When starting completely fresh, players will find themselves in Nightreign's roundtable hold. After matchmaking with 2 other random players, or using a multiplayer password to play directly with your friends, a small cutscene will play and everyone will soar over Limvale, not Limgrave.
They're gonna still use passwords. Dude, just do a fucking lobby. Just go for lobbies, dude. Just let us do lobbies, dude. Come on, a password. That's no, I don't like that.
Before landing and beginning their run. A full run of Nightreign lasts around 30 to 45 minutes, depending on how fast you take down the ending bosses. While it's presented as a 3-day cycle, it really boils down to 5 separate phases. Day 1, Night 1, Day 2, Night 2, and the final boss.
Okay.
When Day 1 begins, the map is fully open, and that's when you'll begin exploring and leveling up. Everyone's level 1 at the outset with basic starting gear, save for relics that you're rewarded with at the end of every round that grant you persistent buffs between matches, with better relics being offered for better performances. Once landed, my team always beelined for the first enemy camp we could find for a quick boost of experience to begin leveling up, which...
So yeah, this is more for... yeah, this is a very different market that they're trying to go for. Yeah, it's maybe take 20 to 30 hours, depending on how many relics and everything. They are going... yeah, no, they are... this shows me that they are going for a completely different market with this. They already captured everyone there is to capture with Dark Souls, Elden Ring. I guess at this point... they've realized everyone who will play Elden Ring has already played Elden Ring. So, they are now going to branch out. Because at this point, you're From Software. You've won at games. You've made one of the greatest games to ever be made. One of the greatest of all time. Objectively speaking, masterfully crafted. One of the best ever made. End of story. Full stop. What do you do from there? Like, this is the Half-Life 3 problem. How do you do Elden Ring 2? There is no Elden Ring 2. There is no Half-Life 3. Because no matter what you make from there, you're not going to be able to live up to the expectations. So your best bet is just do whatever the fuck you want. And it looks like they wanted to go into this and do their own version of Battle Royale. Yeah.
Was key to defeating stronger foes. From there, you'll decide what your team wants to do by looking at the surrounding area on the map, as it will be littered with points of interest for you to explore. Each point of interest typically comes with predictable rewards. Churches will house a flask charge to increase your overall health potion uses. Castles will feature a mini-boss that drops more powerful gear, and rises, similar to Ranni's Rise found in the lands between, will present a simple puzzle to solve before entering to find even more gear. Just to name a few of many.
It's structure.
Where to go in Limvale feels kind of overwhelming at first, but the threat of the ever-closing circle will eventually train your brain to keep on the move. Speed is the name of the game during the day cycle, and luckily everything seems to be built around that.
I just noticed that the guy had, like, chicken legs. There you go. But yeah, this is a very, very interesting risk that they are taking. It's a very, very interesting risk that they're taking. They are just going for a completely different formula. They're going for a formula, like a proper formula. I can see how this could get repetitive. But then again, it's a battle royale. So, can I see people speedrunning this and finding I think that's the point. I think that's going to be the entire point of this. The whole thing. Let's continue.
For starters, leveling up is as quick as a button press. As I mentioned, each of the 4 network test classes has a predetermined stat upgrade path.
They have, yeah.
So when you run up to a site of grace to refill your health,
you no longer
FP
need
and
to
flash charges, you'll also be presented with the leveling menu, which only requires you to press confirm to increase your level.
There you go.
You may even have
this is the biggest point of contention that makes me realize they are no longer going for the Souls market. They already captured the entire Souls market. People that are going to be interested in playing Dark Souls or Elden Ring or anything like that, they just need to look at the great success. Capturing, like, it's already snowballed. The snowball is already there. There's no stopping Elden Ring. So now they are going for a completely different market, because this is, yeah, you're just leveling up. Everything gets... This is a very casual game. This is casual Dark Souls with the current market that is Battle Royales done in the FromSoft way. So this is not hardcore, this is not casual because it's still a Souls game. So this is just core. The first core game we see in a very long time. Because it's not hardcore, because it's not appealing, very clearly not appealing to the Souls fan base. Because the Souls fan base is used to, okay, you put this much into vigor, you put this much into this, dexterity, strength, you go for very specific numbers if you want, or you can explore around. This is completely different. This is just they're going for a completely different market. On this, yes, I see the need to switch things up too, from stuff to running the list following the Call of Duty model, where you just drop functionally the same game over and over. Again, with texture changes, maybe. Like, I would be okay with Elden Ring spin-offs. Like, don't call them sequels, call them spin-offs. And just in the same universe, same world, in a different continent. And you can use the same engine, because the Elden Ring engine is pretty much the culmination of everything. Like, the only thing Elden Ring didn't have was the, like, lassoing, the, what's it called, the hook that you have in Sekiro. That's the only mechanic that I don't think Elden Ring had. Everything else, you pretty much already have. They're not going to put flying. They're not going to put swimming. Or if they do, then that's going to be another thing. This is a spin-off. This is a spin-off, and that's what I think FromSoft needs to do. Because the Elden Ring engine, that's good for 10 years. That's going to be good for 10 years. It already plays incredible, and we are already past the 2010 to 2015 era, where each iteration of the engine was a massive leap. Like, the difference in gameplay between Fallout 2 and Fallout 2 and Fallout 3, or Fallout 3 and Fallout 4. That's not bad. I was not thinking Fallout. I was thinking Far Cry. Far Cry 2 to Far Cry 3, Far Cry 3 to Far Cry 4. The difference in gameplay, the difference in feel and everything between Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1 and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 or Black Ops. The difference in these engines that felt incredibly palpable. The leap that was... that was, say, Assassin's Creed 3 to Assassin's Creed Black Flag. We no longer have these massive leaps in the technology anymore. Right now, they're going for either fidelity or art style, and that's not entirely... Yeah, no, I was mixing up Fallout with Far Cry because they both start with F. So, you know, when I was going to say Fallout 3 to Fallout 4, but then Fallout 4 is just a worse version of Fallout engine-wise. But my point being that we no longer have the engine jump from Oblivion to Skyrim. We no longer have the engine jump between Dark Souls 1 to Dark Souls 3. Like, we no longer have those massive, just, you could feel a generational gap. Like, it would just be a generational, just full-on leap. Now we're having steps. we have steps. Right now, Unreal Engine 5, like, we're going for the photorealism. We're finally getting it now that ray tracing and all that kind of technology, the lighting technology is a lot better now. We're slowly getting there, and that feels like the next stage. But mechanically speaking, we already have extremely smooth gameplay for most of these other things. Elden Ring, yeah, they're probably going to get a graphical upgrade, but when it comes to mechanics, the core mechanics, this is the apex. Like, unless you want to add swimming, which they already did, they did in Sekiro, or you add the grappling hook, which they did in Sekiro, or you start adding flying or something like that for the next Elden Ring spin-off, there's not that much else for them to do, and they don't need to do that much else because the engine they have already presents them with so many possibilities, one of which is Nightreign. So we're gonna see this franchise just pop off completely like this. So what I want to see next generation from Song of Vengeance is an upgrade into the damage model. I want my sword to leave a visible gash in my enemy. I want to slash. Yeah, no, and those are smaller details. Like that we're talking details, which that is going to be a different, a completely different generational gap when we go to those minor details over there. But those will be really cool details. But FromSoft doesn't need that in terms of mechanics. They need their hitboxes to be just as sharp as they possibly can be, which they are. They mastered it. Everything else is more fluff than core. And that's my point. They already perfected their core engine. And now they can go ahead and experiment with whatever they want, which is what they're doing. Maybe add up updates, DLCs for Nightreign to keep it fresh. It's probably going to be a live service game. It's probably going to be a live service game. Like, you don't make a battle royale that is not a live service. It'd be like making a gacha that is not a live service. Like, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. And this is just, or maybe they will. It's FromSoft. Maybe they will. Maybe they'll make the first battle royale that is just a one and done. Maybe with a couple of DLCs down the line, with a couple of skins or something, or a couple of extra bosses or something. They have the complete freedom to do whatever they want. And chances are, this is going to play really well. It's going to play really, really well. It might not look the best. It might not have some of the finer details that other games have, but the hitboxes are sharp, precise. And that's what people ultimately go for Souls games. Everything else is fluff.
Have enough rooms to level up 3 or 4 times, and with 3 or 4 button presses, you're all done and substantially more powerful. If you have experience in Souls games, the day phases should be a breeze. While searching the map for loot upgrades, I ran into recognizable Elden Ring mobs. My team and I decided to take down a camp, but first we had to fight 3 scattered fire chariots before getting
those
our
fire
loot
chariots
reward.
are so tricky, dude.
Another time, we climbed to the top of a castle to fight a godskin noble. That should be scary, but with 2 other tarnished by your side, these mobs and bosses go down pretty fast.
Which goes back to the point of, this is no longer a hardcore game. Like, if you're playing this solo, then yes. But if you're playing this with 2 more people, this goes from a hardcore to a core game. Because this is not casual. This is absolutely not casual, because there's still a level of investment that you need to have on Souls games, but yeah.
Also way faster than in the original Elden Ring. You won't be clawing the controller anymore, since sprinting is moved from circle, or B, to simply clicking the left stick.
Thank you. Yeah, this is for a casual, to the more casual audience. They're not casuals, but they're like more casual. Thank you. Thank you, From Software. Holy shit, that was the one thing that always bugged me, that sprint is often linked to roll, to the same button as rolling. Thankfully, I use a Steam controller when I play Souls games, because the Steam controller has the back things over here that you can set up, and I set that up for these buttons as well, because it's a lot better than just pressing the button. This is the best news for me. I'm probably gonna try it now because of this. Just because of that, I'm gonna try this, because that was the one thing that I always hated: sprinting, being on B or circle or on the same button as you roll. So they seem to be flexing that this game has lost the things made it good. I think the boss health should multiply how many players. They're probably doing it because they always do. In Elden Ring, they do. Boss health multiplies depending on how many players there are. So, and this still has a lot of the things that makes Elden Ring great, and it also explores, once again, it explores this, because now From Software, yeah, a lot of players are going to be like, oh, this gets rid of a lot of things that make Elden Ring great. Yeah, and it also is not made for the same market. This is not made for the core, hardcore, Souls-born keto audience. This is made for the Battle Royale audience. If you want a Souls game, you have 10, 15 years of perfection. You have Elden Ring, it's perfection. Play keyboard and mouse, so I can just bind it to whatever I want. I don't like... this is one of the few games that I need to play with controller. So... no, this is one of the few games that I need to play with controller. It's very rare that I need to play with controller, but Souls is one of them. Just because of the layout of the controller is a lot easier for me to do. Other than that, yeah, I usually do keyboard and mouse as well. That's why I love PC gaming, dude. Options. I have the option. If I want to go for keyboard, I go for it. If I want the Steam controller, I go for it. If I want the Xbox controller, I go for it. I have the option to do whatever I want. That's what I love about PC gaming. So yeah, no, this game is absolutely not made for Elden Ring fans. This game is made... They're just experimenting. We have entered From Software's experimental phase. Turns out that wasn't Armored Core. Armored Core was them servicing an older audience that they already had. This is them just... We've entered the experimental era of From Software.
Sprinting is also about twice as fast as the regular Elden Ring. Fall damage? Nope, none here. Getting down a cliff is easy, and you can even run up walls parkour style, or use spirit springs to get around. Besides just rune hunting to raise your level, you'll also be trying to build a character to take on the night bosses. There is no armor, save for shields, in Nightreign. Only 6 weapon slots and 2 amulet slots. How it works is, in typical Elden Ring fashion, you can switch between your left and right-handed weapons and shields on the fly, but everything on your person will give you buffs. For example, let's say you found a Reduvia dagger with high bleed. If you so choose, this could be the start of a bleed build. Now let's say you take down a boss and you're presented with a few other weapons to choose from, and you spot a spear that increases your status effect buildup.
Yeah, just look at how these things are even displayed now. This is made for the Battle Royale crew. This is for the Battle Royale people. This is it will appeal for the people that really like From Software, but they are starting to experiment. And I like the whole you just need to have it with you for it to give you the bonuses. That is an interesting turn. But yeah, experimental.
You're not going to use that spear, as you'll want to stick with your dagger. But you'll still benefit from the status effect buildup the spear provides just by having it on your person. Think of it almost like a roguelike. Sometimes the synergy of weapon effects and stat upgrades you'll get will build off each other so well that you'll eventually start melting mobs left and right. Other times you'll want something like a poison build, only to keep getting weapons that increase your FP regeneration. Bummer. Weapons aren't the only rewards either. Oftentimes when looting a boss, you'll get to choose a stat upgrade or a modifier. Some of these are less exciting than others, such as a 10% increase in physical damage. Useful, yes. Exciting, not so much.
Yeah, but this gives you a range. You having common to rare or whatever the fuck you want to call these, it spices things up and it gives the really good things really good value. Makes sense.
Other times you'll get something really cool like a passive power-up that drops a big poise-breaking lightning strike every time you dodge, or an enemy slowing frost nova every time you begin to sprint.
This is
cool.
You
can work these into your build for some powerful combinations. While the day phases can feel like a walk in the park, it's the night bosses that serve as a real skill check.
Okay.
After the circle has closed enough to end a day phase, a minor Erd tree will appear, signaling that it's time to take on the night boss. Over the hours I played, my team ranged from completely decimating the Night 1 boss to barely scraping by. If someone goes down, you'll revive that person by simply attacking their downed body.
There you go, you see? This game is not made for hardcore Souls players. Because otherwise he would have said, we died. Like, we failed. From Software is going for, this looks cool, this plays cool, this is fun, and this is for more casual people. I'm not opposed to that. I'm completely okay with this. From Software can do pretty much whatever they want. They're gonna sell. They are at the top right now. And it looks like this. Yeah, I can see how hardcore Souls players are gonna be pissed off at this. A lot of them are not gonna be happy with this. But this is what From Software this is what From Software is doing. This is what they want to do because they know where else do you go other than to the sides? There is no higher to climb. You're already at the top. So start moving to the sides. They need 7 out of 10 games. Everyone's gonna buy them. Yeah, and in this game, I think for what we're seeing, this is gonna be at the very least an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 for what it is. If you then compare it to another Souls game, to Elden Ring proper, you're probably going to get a 6 or a 7 out of 10 because they abandon a lot of the mechanics for what I can see is the rule of cool. This looks cool, this looks like it plays really well, really cool, really fun. You can join. I'm seeing that some games are starting, a lot of games are starting to do the 3-man squads instead of the 4 or 5 or 6-man squads. Because the other one, Firebreak from Control, that one's also a 3-man squad game. So it looks like a lot of some games are moving towards that direction as well. Interesting. I don't know. Trends maybe. They realized that that dudes only have 2 friends and that's it. That turns out they didn't have 3. They only have 2. But yeah, no, this is Hunt Showdown is a trio game. Yeah, I've never played it, but there you go. Like they're going for trios, but Hunt Showdown has been around for a lot longer than these other ones. But it looks like they are going for something that you can play on a Friday night with your friends. It sounds like you can do this whether you're still in school or you just got off of work and you're gonna game with the bros. Like it's game night with the bros. You're gonna boot up the new Elden Ring. You're gonna beat up some bosses, have some fun. This is a lot more casual game. It's still not a casual game from what I'm seeing. Like you still need to have the Elden Ring overall. There are still going to be things there, but I think this game is going to be a lot more forgiving. From what we're seeing, this game is going to be a lot more forgiving, and it's going to be a lot more casual. And I think after how many years has From Software been making, like when did Dark Souls 1 come out? Like 2011? After 14, 15 years of From Software making games for the hardcore audience, they are going for a casual game. They're slowing down and they're taking it easy. Yeah. Makes sense. Makes complete sense. Let's continue.
With ever-increasing attacks needed, the more often they drop. Regardless, the way the night
Good
one
way of healing,
ends
too.
will usually inform you on how the rest of the run will go. I've seen teams come back from barely scraping by the night 1 boss.
There we go.
But if that boss was tough, you're likely behind in your leveling and you'll have an uphill battle ahead of you to have a chance against the night 2 boss.
Okay.
Day 2 begins the same way Day 1 did. You'll once again have a full map to explore to level and find better equipment and power-ups. Occasionally, you'll be invaded by a random Margit the Fell Omen who will chase you until he dies or he wipes your party. If your team wipes during the day, you'll drop your runes and respawn at the nearest site of grace. You can recover your runes, but the main thing lost here is time, which was wasted fighting an enemy you didn't get a reward from and wasted having to recover your lost runes.
Okay, so this even reinvents the whole, like it even reworks the whole concept of losing your souls. There's the lost souls, but more importantly, time. Yeah, this game is made with a completely different frame of reference. Like, it's from a completely different perspective for a completely different audience, I think. That's what I'm understanding here.
If your team wipes during a night boss, it's game over, and you'll need to begin a new run. By the time Night 2 rears its ugly head, it's time for the final skill check. During our playtest, we were met with 2 different night bosses. You'll either be faced with the Centipede Demon, who is tough but feels somewhat manageable, or 3 Sentinel Knights that really, really suck. In my 6 or 7 full runs of Nightreign, my team was only able to get past Night 2 just once. Finally, day 3 is incredibly straightforward. There isn't one. Instead, you'll be able to spend your last bit of runes either leveling up or buying consumable items from a vendor.
I really like that this looks a lot like the walk up to the Soul of Cinder or the walk up to Gwyn. I really like this. I really like how it looks. And yeah, there you go. Night 2 is the skill check. That's the filter. So it's still going to appeal. Yeah, I'm interested now.
And then you and your team will take on the final boss of the run. As I mentioned before, depending on how far you got in your run, each player will be rewarded with a relic that provides a persistent upgrade for your characters.
There you go.
These can range from simple stat increases to modifiers that will set you on a build path right from the jump. For my preview, this seems to be the only meaningful progression Nightreign has to offer, though I imagine the full game may have more.
It's not meaningful progression, it's long-term progression, because every time you will have short-term and long-term progression. It's not I think I'm nitpicking here, but meaningful I think is the wrong word.
In store for us.
This looks cool.
Nightreign is a lot of fun. Pulling off victories by the skin of your teeth provides the same sense of accomplishment you felt when taking down some of Elden Ring's toughest foes. The moment a round ended, I couldn't wait to jump back in to see what kind of build I'd get the next time around. And the cheer my team let out when we finally took down that blasted Day 3 boss reminds me why I love the Souls-like genre so much. In its current form, Nightreign could be seen as a little content light. So I'm incredibly interested to see how it shakes out when it releases sometime in 2025. But for now, it's been a few days since I've played Nightreign, and still, it's all I think about. I absolutely can't wait to jump back in for more.
Well, that last comment is just because you're a games journalist, but who gives a shit? I'm sold. I'm sold. I want to play this game. This game is made... Yeah, May 30, 2025 is the release date. Okay, cool. So that's right after my trip to Florida. Good. So yeah, no, I'm interested. This looks great. This really looks great. It looks like From Software is experimenting, and they are going to experiment, and they are going to just figure what they want to figure out, and they're just going to go for whatever they want. And whether there's going to be an Elden Ring 2, I don't care, but... Yeah, no, this is great. This is great, dude. This is absolutely great. This is just good stuff. Good stuff. It looks fun. It's not going to appeal to your hardcore, I've been playing since Dark Souls 1, and I only do, like, dagger and parry build Dark Souls fans. It's not going to appeal to this audience. This is for the buddy audience. This is going to be a way more social game. I can see this is going to be just a complete storm. It's going to take Twitch, Kick, YouTube by storm, because this is going to give a lot more combinations, and that's where the game is. The Bioshock games are on your playlist. If you don't know them, they were on sale at this moment. Oh yeah, we're gonna check that in a second. But yeah, let me close on this. I'm sold. I want to play this game now, and I trust From Software is gonna do well with this. They're not gonna let us down. So there you go. Yeah, video ends here. Because it's gonna go up on YouTube. So, well, the Solar community will also play it a lot because it's Elden Ring and all those VSX in there. Yeah, they are. They are. And I guess the video didn't end there. They are. And some of the, like, I'm talking the absolute most hardcore players are probably going to be disappointed that a lot of the elements are missing. This is no longer aiming for the Souls players. This is going to be aiming for the Elden Ring players. And the Battle Royale players. Simple as. Simple as. All right. Yeah, I'm going to leave the video there.